Welcome back for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Find us on Facebook.com/SuperFunPodcast, Twitter.com/SuperFunPodcast, Patreon.com/SuperFunPodcast, Instagram @SuperFunPodcastGo, iTunes @Superfun Game Review Podcast Go. Thanks and enjoy the show.
Welcome back for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go! Here we are, once again. To my right, Harry.
Hey, clowns ruin everything.
You're not wrong. To my left, Ralph. Across from me, Clark.
This game is a fucking garbage fire.
And then me.
Spoilers.
I'm not just a robot that you can put yourself in. I'm Steve. We are reviewing Dark Cloud 2.
Unfortunately.
Here we go. Initial impressions.
All right. I actually really liked the first Dark Cloud game. I spent a lot of time with it.
Did you caress it?
What's that?
Did you caress it?
No.
Whisper sweet nothing in its ear?
So the first game, played a lot of it. Never, beat the actual game. When it got to the second one, I just never picked it up. I was kind of excited to see this come up in the poll, and just like most of the polls that we've had, the listeners let us down.
Damn.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. Please continue to vote.
Please
in
comment
the polls.
and give us suggestions, please. Thank you.
Please continue voting in the polls. It's just, man, this is not the game that I was hopeful of.
Well, with that, Harry, what'd you think?
I had a similar experience. I was actually really excited to pick this up. Like, I remember watching people play Dark Cloud. I'm pretty sure it was the first one. I watched people play, and I saw, like, the whole building the city thing. I was like, and the dungeon crawl, and I was like, that looks awesome. And then when I got into it myself, I think what really killed it for me is, like, how kiddie this game felt. Like, I got that impression right away playing this game, that it was just for, like, little kids. And it really, I think, just killed my steam going into this. And I just, I don't know. It just left a bad taste in my mouth, like, right out of the gate.
And with that, Ralph.
Initially, I have to say, I started to experience what I thought were influences on this franchise. I didn't play Dark Cloud. I actually have only seen the box art for Dark Cloud. I have no connection to this franchise at all. And the time signature is a little off. Thanks. I was trying really hard not to interrupt you.
He's waving it around. You're a wizard, Ralph!
Happy Christmas, Harry!
I was going to say that's very ironic.
Yeah.
He does look like Ron a little bit.
This is I could tell almost from the beginning that this game, it feels like several games into a blender. And I know I said that about Prey, and that was one of the strengths of it, but for this game, no, it's like Final Fantasy crossed with Zelda, crossed with the Dragon Warrior art style from Dragon Warrior 8, and to me, it just, maybe I didn't put enough time into it, but it didn't work for me.
I remember seeing the cover art at some point in my life, never actually really paid attention to the series, and then, hey, this is a great game. You should give it a shot. Never actually did that, and then here it is before us. Yeah, we're going to get into that.
Full disclosure, like, I think this is one of those games you would have had to play at the time of it coming out, mainly because we would have been a lot younger when this first came out.
I completely agree.
And I think we missed that whole bandwagon. So, like, I feel like our review is
a little skewed.
Yeah, a little skewed because of that.
Sounds like your final thought.
No, like I agree though. Like, as mature gamers going back to play this, it's kiddie. There's no risk. They didn't take any risks with the game. It's a clone of the first one in structure, and it's incredibly predictable.
I expected more darkness out of Dark Cloud 2.
Well, the whole world is dark. The whole world's dark. It's just this little town that's not, right?
No.
No?
See, I thought this was a game to teach you about meteorology.
Oh, yeah. No, that's good.
I'm waiting for the punchline
Yeah, I
here.
don't know.
No.
There's no punchline. Okay.
All right, well, let's get right on into game development.
Game development.
Yeah, let's tromp through, guys. All right.
You took notes on development?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
There wasn't a lot, though. Like the Wikipedia that I looked up, it was all like the story and the gameplay. Like, it really had no background on the game development. What I did find is that it's an RPG.
No shit.
No,
Really?
no, it was
Wow.
released in 2003 by Level 5.
2003. Oh, God.
Yeah. I remember seeing that from the menu. I played the HD version. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I played on PS4 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, thinking about it timeline-wise, we would have been...
That's high school.
Would have been teenagers when this game came out.
10th grade?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I still would have been a little old for this type of story at that point, but I think
Little
it
bit.
would have been more feasible than what I am today.
See, but I was playing the first one around this time. I played the first one a bunch. This is just... I think this game is a reflection on the Zidane from
I see what you did there.
Final Fantasy
from
9.
Final Fantasy 9.
Right?
That's Zidane.
Zidane.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
What?
Yeah, because it's a very not subtle reference, I thought.
Yeah,
It's intentional.
So I think they were like, "Oh, kids can be in a successful RPG over here, and let's replicate that into our game." And it was a mess.
It didn't pan out.
Yeah,
I don't know if they were necessarily kids in Final Fantasy IX, though. I think it was just the art style made them look like kids.
This is a
I-
much more interesting conversation than what we're actually trying to talk about. I just
A
like to-
little bit.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think the implication that they were going for was more to the younger side, I guess. Like more, not so where it's like, I guess if you're doing the Final Fantasy reference where it's not so much like Final Fantasy VIII, where it's like late teens, they're like, you know, at the end of like their high school thing or whatever it is. This is more like junior high type of characters almost.
I mean,
where it
isn't
seems a
Max
little-
like 12?
It seems that way.
Max is 12.
He's got the hands of a 50-year-old, though.
The fucking I already started blocking parts of this game out of my head. What's the chick's name?
Monica.
Monica. She's only 16 in the game.
What state are we in?
All right. Back to development.
Lots of things are legal in Japan, though. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, you know what? Sorry. I just said let's go back to development, but I wanted to say that in 2003, that's when Wind Waker came out, and I played and loved Wind Waker. So there's a cel-shaded, kiddie-esque
Oh my god,
game.
you liked a Zelda game?
Shut up. And I don't have any problems playing that
Zelda game? What?
How's that note, bitch?
now. Clark, aren't you 2 for 2 with great Zelda games?
What do you mean?
You've played two Zelda games, and you've enjoyed them both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Cool. Continue with the development notes.
Yeah, I have no input on that whole
I mean, I
conversation.
played Ocarina at a time, too.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I have.
Okay. You didn't like Ocarina?
It was all right. I haven't beaten it. I haven't spent a lot of time with
Ocarina is way better than Majora's Mask.
it. Ralph is giving him eyes.
What
over
face
here.
is that, Harry?
Welcome to our next Mubbers. Which Zelda is better?
Yeah.
I like
Hi.
Link to the Past.
Dark Cloud 2 development.
Yeah.
Literally, you guys will be doing a memorial episode after I have to fucking edit that shit.
Memorial.
Now, this kind of ties into story, but it's kind of development side as well. They wanted to go with like a clean cast of characters in this game instead of a direct sequel. I mean, there are 4 characters in the game that directly link to the first one, but everything else is a new character. And I think that was a specific direction they wanted to go. And sorry, before we move on from it, when we were talking about the child cast of the game, I knew you were trying to make a link to like Final Fantasy IX and like, hey, they did it there, we could do it here as well.
Yes.
I think that was a direct choice because they wanted to cater to a younger audience. And by putting children in the game, the people playing it could relate more to the characters. And being a child character and myself being an adult, I think that's why I cannot get into / relate to.
Well, not only
the
that,
characters.
they made the story the same way, very slow and boring.
I can't compare it to the first one just personally because I didn't play.
Oh no, I'm just saying in general.
Okay.
In terms of general storytelling, the story is very, very slow in this. Also, the combat is like just super slow. Everything's really slowed down. Like, especially, wasn't Kingdom Hearts starting to come out around this time?
Oh, that's the other game that I felt this was a reference to.
Right, but there's like action RPGs like this is supposed to be in terms of gameplay that are coming out that are fast-paced, kid-friendly, and have at least an interesting storyline. And I think this just failed on all three of those fronts, personally.
Oh, wait, we are getting right to final thoughts.
No, like, I'm sorry.
Jump around.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't kidding.
I'm sorry. I will get this out right now at the beginning of the fucking podcast.
You can turn it off in 5, 4.
No, I struggled to even remotely play this game. I played for about 6 hours total, and I literally just couldn't do it anymore. I hated the fucking game. I then read the fucking story online. It was incredibly forgettable. Just, I didn't see anything that was even a shadow of the game that I had loved previously. And now I'm afraid to go back. I had been thinking about buying it on PS4, and I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm just going to leave those thoughts of
the first one?
Dark Cloud being a great game in my head, because I don't want to ruin it.
Keep the nostalgia where it is.
Yep, keep the nostalgia where it is, especially after playing this.
Just locking
fucking
in a part of your
steaming
brain.
pile.
Don't visit it again. So many other memories.
I feel like I want to chime in, but I don't want to give my final thoughts
Yeah, no, that's
in the
fine.
first 10
Oh, my
minutes.
final
We're just
thoughts
in-
are going to be fucking brutal.
We're just in development right now.
I did want to say that I just I got like a Nino Kuni vibe from this, and that's something that I related to Nino Kuni.
You want to
Okay, so-
translate that for the listeners, Ralph?
All right,
Harry
well, our
hasn't
listeners
played any real modern JRPGs.
Our listeners know Nino Kuni, okay? It's the RPG that was made alongside Studio Ghibli, and it has the same art style. It came out for the PS3 generation. It came out previous generation.
The Ghiblies, huh?
Studio Ghibli.
Princess Mononoke,
Spirited Away, Howl's
Spirited
Moving
Away,
Castle,
Howl's Moving
Castle in the
Castle.
Sky,
Really? None of those?
Porco Rosso.
Some of
Bless you.
it's literally like the Disney of Japan for anime.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
He's actually owned by Disney now.
Right. They made this RPG that I bought and I never finished, but I put enough time into it to get a feel for it. Yeah, you guys are surprised. I never.
No,
finished
I'm
it.
just like the Disney of Japan. It's like very legitimate. Then,
Yeah.
what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah. No. Disney like distributes all of his stuff here now.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's all anime. I have several for my child upstairs.
I kill your family.
Our listeners know Studio Ghibli as well. Anyway,
Maybe
I
but
got
I
it.
don't want to
Okay.
assume anyone knows about anime.
Level 5 also made
Not to disparage anime.
Level 5 also made Ni no Kuni 1 and 2, which I almost picked up 2, but I haven't picked it up yet. It's a sort of a similar idea, and I had struggled with the same thing with this game, that I felt like I was not part of the demographic. I was not who the game was marketed toward. It was marketed toward a younger audience, but the way that the dialogue's written and things are explained and the way the gameplay and the story flow, it just sort of, I had missed my opportunity, missed the chance for this
Wait,
game to
where
really
did
hit.
Ghibli come from? Why did you get to Ghibli? Are you
Ni no Kuni.
equating? Okay, all right.
Ni no Kuni was made.
I was
by Level
hoping
5.
that you were not equating this to like Ghibli work. I was like, what the fuck?
No, you're good.
Okay, all right.
I
Just
just
wanted
wanted
to clarify.
something more for the studio.
Fair enough.
They also did Professor Layton, apparently, or Professor Layton.
Latin? Layton?
Professor
Layton.
Layton. I've never played those games.
No idea. All right. Well, that was very informational. So let's move on into story.
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 All right, I
My
would like
name's
to
Max.
since this is like the part of the game that I actually like remember.
A clown likes chestnuts. He comes to town to get chestnuts, and hijinks ensue. Go ahead.
Clown nuts everywhere.
Sure, yeah. So, open up. We have Max.
You don't
steals a ticket to the carnival.
He gets there. You don't actually open up with Max.
No, his ticket is stolen.
You get Monica.
You have to track it down.
Right. The little girl steals it, or the little girl or boy steals it.
Yeah, Radical
You go-
Edward
redhead kid.
steals your ticket.
Fucking gingers.
Hey!
So you go and you watch the circus. I forgot about like the 5 minutes you play as Monica in the beginning.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, because it
the
actually opens up
castle.
with Monica,
Yeah.
and then you switch to Max. 100 years in the future or past.
yes.
Yes. So then you go to the fucking circus. You see a clown talking to the mayor.
You trip over a
The mayor's like, "Oh no, I'm a little bitch," and the clown's like, "You're gonna fucking give me that stone I'm looking for." And then Max overhears them. He chases Max into the fucking sewer on a
got a giant
spider
robot
clown
thing.
robot.
Then you have to fight an elephant with the robot.
Yeah,
The elephant's name is Linda.
Yes,
Really?
the elephant named Linda
Yeah,
is like,
why?
it does a backflip soccer kick.
Oh, that's right.
At one point.
Yeah.
Best part is the robot's name is Steve. Just saying.
Yup.
That I
Yup.
did remember and
Yeah.
think was funny.
So then you go into the sewers. You finally beat Flotsam, the clown.
Flotsam, I think.
Flotsam. You beat Linda. You beat a giant elephant with a
an elephant with a robot.
with
Yeah.
a giant robot. You know what? I changed my mind. This game is fantastic.
It's amazing what turns you around.
Your friend Cedric convinces the mayor to open up the pristine and perfect railway line that was closed under mysterious circumstances, and then you can progress to the forest, which I think is as far as any of us got.
I got to the forest, started doing the dungeons in the forest, and was like, I can't go on.
I actually think that there's a difficulty spike there, but I got through it. But yeah, that's as far as I got to the story. I almost resurrected the butterfly. Or got to the magical butterfly. I resurrected what's his name? The big tree, the Deku tree. I resurrected the Deku tree in the future, and that's about where I stopped.
I did find this may be going back to development, some references back to Final Fantasy again, because there was like I forget what they called it, but basically the flame monster in the forest.
The bomb.
The firebomb.
Yeah, the firebomb. That looked like the firebomb from Final Fantasy, but with hands.
It did.
Exactly like it.
Actually, you know what? You're right, Clark. This game is horrifying because those clowns with the crosses for eyes that you fight in the sewer. I mean, that would give me nightmares if I was 8 years old, which is the target demographic for this game.
Yeah.
That was a little bit scary to me. I thought that the robot clown thing reminded me a lot of, was it Goma? The first boss inside the Deku tree in Ocarina of Time that climbs on the ceiling.
Oh.
Between the nose being like the eye, they just
could
had like
see
the
that.
same design. I just felt like this influx of influences for this game.
They stole everything.
I think they did. Even the clown, it's like Kefka with a really bad. No offense to the voice actor, but I didn't think his performance was any good, and it's just.
I'd like to clarify that what I just summed up in 30 40 seconds takes place over 6 agonizing hours
This is true.
of gameplay. It's so bad. It's so bad.
The nice thing
Story.
is,
We're talking about story.
by
James.
that point,
No,
you
I
have
understand.
about another 44 hours to go for a full story, unless you're doing a speed run, which
I'm
I
gonna
looked
speed
up.
run
Is
through
like
the fucking story.
I found out
You guys can fill in.
the speed run is like 6 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh, what, of the game?
Yeah. That's like cutting everything out, knowing exactly where to go.
and you need RNG on your side, which is dumb.
Yeah, because did the levels, were they random if you died and came back, or was I just not paying attention?
Items and everything in them were random.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
like you go to a chest and get different items out of every chest.
Oh, and right, of course, in
Well,
order
let's
to get
finish-
the key, you have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gameplay. Let's
That's gameplay.
let's
keep
finish
going
the
with story. So who actually knows the rest of the story?
Clark,
Harry?
I know bits and pieces.
I mean,
Time
so
travel.
It basically talked about everything. So I'm wondering whoever did the wiki site on this got to the same point and just was like, "Fuck it," because they said.
I noticed that too. It's literally they get to the forest and then the Wikipedia page stops, and then they just do this brief like,
They go
oh,
and then
there's
you go from
stones.
world, and then you go from world to world collecting stones, fixing the future, and that's how you defeat them.
and then you defeat
Wow.
Emperor Griffin.
oh, Griffin! Oh my god!
I saved about 35 hours of my time. Thank God.
You mean Emperor Garland? No, I didn't say that.
You mean Gandalf?
But no, it was funny because like the last thing they talked about on the wiki site was when you get to like the dwarves and how they love their fucking
Grape juice. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god,
They couldn't even call it wine.
Give me some of the grape juice. Yeah. Oh, I just love being here, and it's wonderful and all that stuff.
Like the one with the
voice work was
there's
pretty
the
good.
one
about
with
it.
So wait, you're like
Fishing pole?
7 dudes that just live in a house in the middle of the fucking woods?
Who's that
With no
chick?
forest to dote over.
Yeah. They see one girl and they're like, "Oh my god!" and just spraying grape
We need to
juice
bring
all
her
over each
home.
other.
I'm really sad about this. I'm happy about this. I'm roofied.
I mean, if that's not Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, I don't know what is.
Thanks for picking that up, Ralph. That's exactly what we
Anyway.
were alluding to.
Yeah, we weren't alluding to that at all. Right? Thank you.
Oh.
I was thinking
It's almost like they were poison app. Oh, wait.
All right, so let's deconstruct what we know about the story.
Do we have to?
There's a couple points I want to hit real quick.
All right,
Time
hit it.
travel?
Hit
Can
your
we talk about
points.
time travel?
Hit it with your
Yes,
mouth.
there's a significant amount of time travel in this where you're bouncing back and forth 100 years essentially.
Okay, so how many video games can we name that have that are basically an homage or reference in this game so far? There's Chrono Trigger right there.
Yep. There's,
Chrono Cross.
Back to the Future.
Okay, it's a movie. but
Doctor
made into
Who.
a game. I don't mean just time travel. I mean the whole thing.
Oh. Jurassic Park.
Dr. Strangelove and How I Learned to Love the Atomic Bomb.
Doctor Strange. The Marvel movie.
The Day After Tomorrow. Groundhog Day.
All right, my idea flopped. Let's move on.
You tried. Didn't succeed, but you tried.
But okay, so literally within the first couple hours, the big thing they throw at you is the circus and clowns.
Yeah.
Who is that getting interested in learning about the story of this game?
The target demographic of 8-year-old children.
Did you love clowns when you were 8 years old?
Nope.
No, but
I blame Tim Curry.
I did love hitting clowns with a wrench, so that would have appealed to me as
With
a
your Donkey
9-year-old.
Kong-sized hands.
I don't
They're
know.
man hands, Ralph.
I'm just thinking, like,
You know what appealed to me when I was 8? Fucking Ninja Turtles. And I searched all through that goddamn sewer, and there wasn't one fucking turtle.
There was a few rats.
You fucked up, Dark Cloud 2.
There's a couple
You
rats.
fucked up.
It must
But
have
no
been
tur-
in the forest. I remember fighting turtles.
No, there were tortoises.
Doesn't matter.
Not
They weren't in the
turtles.
fucking
It
sewers.
was a
You're right.
tortoise. Difference.
Are they fighting a fucking bull and a fucking rhinoceros?
You keep touching my feet, Harry. You want to do that again?
Sorry.
Wanna
I
take off
had to
my-
call him out on the Mubbers from 2 weeks ago.
Always playing footsies.
Always fucking playing footsies. Jesus Christ.
Jesus, I'm not that aggressive with it.
No,
All right,
give me
so-
your foot.
I think
Jesus.
we've basically touched the major points of the story here. But the clown and the circus bit, yeah, I wasn't that interested.
Oh, also, this game has a fucking terrible ending.
What?
Oh, what's the ending? Spoil it for me, please.
So it seems like Max and Monica kind of have like a developing
I think that
romantic
she's
relationship.
like his ancestor.
A
Or he's
little
her
bit.
ancestor.
nice. 10 decades.
No, his
incest.
mom's in the game
Yeah.
from 100 years in the future.
Wait, his mom is from
Is
the future?
100? Yes.
That's right, because his mom disappeared or something when he was like
yes.
a little kid.
Yeah.
So what's their relationship?
They don't have a relationship. It's a mom and a son.
No. I mean Monica and Max.
Fifth cousins.
I don't know. But literally at the end of the game, they're just like, "All right, see you later. Roll the credits."
Did you need it to be Romeo and Juliet across time?
No, I didn't. But I also wanted something that had a little more substance to that. If you're going to put up with 45 hours of bullshit, you got to have some sort of payoff. Okay, the end boss
No
looked
arguments
kind of
here.
cool. The end boss looked kind of cool, but like the story doesn't even fucking pay off in an interesting way at all.
What's interesting about Emperor Griffin?
He looks kind of cool.
Oh,
The design on him is all right. It's probably graphics. That's the only thing I have to say about the fucking game.
okay.
Fucking sucks.
That's a great rundown. I mean, I pretty much got my fill out of this entire thing, and again, I saved so much time of my life devoted for Rocket League and Borderlands 2.
To be honest, just side note for our listeners, I think this is the biggest hump that this podcast has ever seen to try to get through.
It's also Wednesday, by the way. We're recording
As-
on Hump Day.
Oh,
We put off reviewing this game a few times, and we understand that it was one of the poll games and things like that. It was also a massive time commitment if any of us were going to beat it, and then we all started playing it, and we're just like,
faded out. Try to pick it up.
yeah,
again.
no. And then it's also the middle of summer. We have some scheduling issues. That's why we're kind of getting it out to you a little later than we would want
No, I just wanted to say, like,
Because if somebody has made it through the podcast this long and has not turned it off, God
bless you.
God, name's not Kyle Page.
Thank you.
I've never had a game that was this much of a struggle for the podcast.
I would agree.
I've even been able to plow through Duck Dynasty. I've been able to plow through...
So Duck Dynasty's better than
Duck Dynasty is better than this.
Oh my God!
I'm going to say it. I had more fun.
Rambo?
I had more... Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, this is probably...
Yeah.
This is... Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
we'll get to the end. We're the little preview of the end, guys.
All right. So instead of going that far, I think we pretty much hit what we
I
had
used my
to.
red amulet to jump 100
Oh my God.
seconds
100 minutes in
future.
the future.
Better not be 100 fucking minutes.
Let's just move on. It's gameplay time.
Gameplay.
Gameplay time.
So the first thing I want to talk about gameplay, the camera controls.
Awful.
Oh, I had to reverse them or whatever, and then I still didn't have it right.
So it
Inverted?
still didn't
Yeah.
work. Like there was
No.
an inverted and like a flip. Like so, I went through the menu so many times trying to I wanted it to feel like you move the character with the left and the camera with the right.
Yeah.
But there was something always inverted, no matter how I set up the settings.
That's so funny. I had the same problem. I didn't think you guys...
No, it's
Would've mentioned that.
it's the most limiting Japanese style of...
What's Japan got to do with it?
No, most Japanese games, like, you know how there's always, like, they'll flip the X and circle button?
Oh, yes.
And things like that. Like, that's one of those things. With a lot of Japanese games, one of the camera controls is always inverted no matter what. And if there's not good localization, they don't change that to be a more unified format.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like every game uses like almost the exact same camera function with the right joystick. Right?
Now.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Now.
Well, you know, they just had to be just super revolutionary with Dark Cloud 2.
It worked out so well.
Like I feel like even
That's one
then-
way I wish they had followed suit with somebody else. Yeah, I wish they had and didn't.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Hadn't didn't.
I wish that the camera controls had borrowed more heavily from something else, whereas everything else in this game was borrowed too much.
Yeah.
Just say, I think even then there was games that use the modern camera
Oh,
techniques.
for sure.
That I just found like that was I think I spent like a half hour trying to figure out and orient myself.
That's a long time.
That was the one gameplay thing I really just wanted to get out there immediately because that was the first big obstacle outside of the clowns that I hit with this game.
Started on the right foot. Cool.
I thought the actual combat was incredibly slow, not very intuitive. It was menu heavy for an action RPG.
It could be menu heavy.
You mean
there were some aspects where you could make it a little more melee, but to really use it functionally, yes, you did have to go into the melee. But at least between where...
Like you could hot button like 3 different fucking items.
Yeah, if you
your
if you got
bread
the-
and your camera and your bombs.
Yeah, but it was so clunky even utilizing that.
It was, but I mean, you could utilize between, like, if you were playing as Max, going between like his main melee and then the gun and
Oh, that's
blocking.
true.
Yeah, but that
and
was
back
just
and forth.
2 or 3 buttons. It's not exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how menu heavy it was if you wanted to use anything other than your first 3. There's no sorting to speak of in the menus.
annoyed me. I couldn't
that was
sort my
fucking
inventory.
maddening. Like, I just want to access my health items. Oh, I need to find bread, which also looks like the fucking pebbles that I'm picking up in the sewer, and like the fucking rat skins. Like, it was fucking ridiculous.
What drove me nuts is how quickly the weapons were breaking too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like every 20 shots, you got to repair your gun because it just doesn't work then.
I didn't find that to be that difficult.
I didn't find it was difficult. I found it frustrating, especially if you don't have the.
I just kind of thought of it as ammunition. You can
I could
upgrade
see that.
durability.
But okay, let's say you're out of those. You run out. You can't use that item until you buy more. The market on those items is outrageous.
Yeah.
The cost of items in this game is ridiculous.
For the output of what you can get too is bad. It's a
I never
really,
ran out of that stuff.
I did.
Did you use it though?
The gun, not as much as you'd think. I actually, yeah, sure. This is gameplay. At one point, Max had died, and this is later when I was in the forest. Max had fainted, so I could not use the robot because Monica can't use the robot. So if Max faints, you lose the robot and you lose Max. And it was one of the larger enemies. It was like the big Ent thing. Did you guys come across those guys?
No.
Yeah.
It's a big tree guy. It'll send kamikaze little trees at you. So if you get close, they just start exploding.
It is a Japanese game.
That's what they are. Oh yeah, Ents. Throw Tolkien in the mix too, because nothing is original in this game. I just started to spam with Monica's fire wrist amulet thing, this Ent, and I was doing like 2 or 3 damage, and I just started spamming it until I had used I think 3 or 4 of the repairs for my wrist guy. Finally, I took it down, but I had to spam it like that because I had died a couple times on that level and was so frustrated. I said, fuck it. I'm just going to mash the shit out of this until this thing is dead, because I didn't have any bombs to do it. And there's the one character that you can add to your party. His bombs, they do like 300 damage when you get them. They're like homemade bombs or whatever.
What if I told you that by the end of the game with Monica, you would be using the same wristlet because it's the most powerful weapon in the game?
You gonna offer him the blue or red pill?
No,
She takes
What
the blue
if I
pill.
told you?
I'm just saying you use the same fucking weapon the entire game with her. The fucking wristlet thing.
Okay.
You have to use it on the final boss, in fact. Have to use it.
Okay.
It's just, well, why? Like,
You're
there's
still
no...
upgrading it as you go through the game.
Okay, but it's the same thing. Like another thing something that bothered me about the gameplay is, like, I got one weapon and I was like, cool, so do I get other weapons like this, or do I need to upgrade this one? So I'd start upgrading it a while, and then I was like continuing to upgrade it, and I was like, okay, so am I ever going to get something that's just like, oh, this is easily better? Like, no. It's a main worry that I have with that game is, like, you're just going to pick up one fucking sword from the beginning of the game, and, like, that's your sword throughout the entire game, and you're just leveling it up.
Well,
there's no variety in weapons.
Hang
There's
on.
no...
No, I did want to do a counterpoint to that, though. Like, so you start out with, it was a hammer with...
Wrench.
Sorry. But you turn it, I did turn it into like a drill hammer or something at one point. It had like the spiral thing on the end.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was technically changing the weapon. And
But that was his one weapon that changed.
well, I think he had... I came across...
You can
that-
give him a sword.
It's the wrench and the pistol, and you can swap out pistols. I never got anything to replace the wrench. My RNG, I never got anything other than the wrench. So I'm constantly just using the fucking wrench.
I got the turtle hammer eventually. Like, I found one in a chest, but as similar to Harry, I just followed the upgrade path, the build up path, where I had the wrench, I built it up to the drill. I got it up to a tier to the point where I was dropping 50 hit points on some enemies. Mm-hmm. It got to the point where I started to like the system. For me, maybe I played it too long. I started to see...
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, right. I started to see a silver lining to some of these things. Like I said, the story, I didn't enjoy the bits that I was experiencing. When it came to the combat and when it came to this forest, which is Chapter 2, that's where I sort of was like, okay, I'm going to knuckle up or do whatever. I'm going to actually try to beat this and try to get through this chapter. And there was a difficulty spike where I kept dying consistently until I had to shift the way I was playing. And after I did that, it started to get easier. I started to enjoy it a little bit. And I liked the upgrade system. And I would just go online and be like, okay, if I do this path with the wrench, what can I get to? And apparently there's like a hammer branch, and then like it's not a sword branch, but it's more of there's a poison wrench branch and a hammer branch. And I did the same thing with Monica, where she has 2 different swords. I got like the bastard sword. And once I started to upgrade the weapons and realized how the upgrade system worked, like you had certain requirements you had to hit with certain elements, I started to find it interesting. And I've never played Kingdom Hearts, but I started to get a feeling that it was sort of like a Keyblade kind of thing. Have you guys played Kingdom Hearts?
No.
That's a negative.
No, I get it. Like, and I did tinker around with the leveling up weapon system. What I did find a little, I guess, dangerous with this game, I feel like you could back yourself into a corner where you can't proceed. Let's say you sold a lot of your items for currency. Or
Well, that's any game. You don't want to sell all your shit.
Well, no, I know, but I mean, The one thing I did find, you can't go back. Once you clear a dungeon, it doesn't really respawn with enemies.
It doesn't?
At least I didn't see that.
I didn't go back to the sewer, but I thought if I wanted to, I could do that to grind for stuff.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I wanted to grind certain things, and I was pretty sure it was all cleared out.
I could go back in the forest.
You could?
Yes, because you get to a certain point in the story where you have to... Monica's ability is she can transform into other enemies, and you have to talk to one of them to get an item to use with another item to spawn the final boss of Chapter 2, the rainbow butterfly. I didn't get that far because...
But you hadn't moved on past the forest, is what you're saying.
No, I didn't move past the forest.
So he's saying if you went and moved to the forest and then went back to the sewers, it's not...
Well, I thought I went back in some of the earlier rooms in the sewer because I wanted to, like, grind a bit because I couldn't get the items to level up my gun.
Okay.
I was just, like, stopped, like a ban on leveling that weapon up. So I wanted to go back and replay, but I don't think it gave me the option, or whenever I went back in the sewer, it would show, hey, you're on this place, and then send you to that place.
I don't think that's the case because you can replay it so you can get those medals.
Maybe I missed something. Maybe I missed something with that.
Yeah, I got you. Because, like I said, I had beaten all the levels in Chapter 2 in the forest, and I was able to go back to, like, the beginning of the forest and still fight and still have enemies there because it was an early level enemy that I had to transform and talk to get this item. Can we talk about the city building or the world building?
That was the one thing I was looking for
Okay.
in this game, and it just kept not happening.
You didn't
kept
get there?
not happening. And I was just like...
I don't like that you have to play the game for 10 hours to get to one of the core pieces of the game.
Did you like Final Fantasy 13?
I didn't play it.
Okay.
I see you're saying it has that tunnel syndrome, where it's just like it forces you down a tunnel until late in the game, and then it opens up.
I would just say that the sewers in the first world is like a tutorial. Maybe it just is too long. The sewers probably should have been a couple levels, not as long as it was.
It just felt like a real grind. Even then, the forest just felt like a grind.
Yeah. I don't really like the structure of it being so linear with the dungeon. And again, it doesn't have to... I don't know, it's just like, okay, so I did this part. Now I have to do it again and again and again and again and again. And it doesn't change up that much. You know, all the... Graphically, I know this is gameplay, but all the graphics are the same. Like the sewer was like the same level remixed 10 times, which I thought was overkill. Once you get to a certain point in the forest, it does open up with where you can create that area and you can make changes. So I guess I was the only one that got this far. You have to create this elder tree, who's basically the Deku tree, and it's really... I had to use the internet to like figure out what I was supposed to do here because it's not that straightforward to me. Even with the help menu system that they've got, like you can watch little videos to help you figure out stuff. You can move the dwarf, for lack of a better word, I forget what they're called. They're not hobbits, frobits or whatever they are.
Yeah,
I think that's right. You can move their house around, do whatever you want with it, but then you have to construct this tree, and you can create using the elements that you find all over the game and in chests and everything. Like if you want to make this part of the tree, you have to have like enough stone or fire or wood or whatever.
You need materials.
You need materials, thank you. And the materials don't really come, at least at this point in the game, maybe later it's more, they don't come that freely. Like you have to grind to get this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make 2 eye trees and then a nose tree. And you have to put an eye tree and a nose tree and an eye tree near a river. Then when you go to the future, boom, ta-da, the Deku tree's there. I forget what his actual name is. Do you remember?
Nope.
Okay. Once you do that, it unlocks all these things like, oh, you have to have so-and-so come in and live in Sedaine. You have to have your gardener has to come live there. When your gardener lives there, then it unlocks that you can do this and do that. So you have these requirements that you have to make in this small sandbox where you can like pick up a bush if there's one there already, and you can turn it into components, and then you can put a tree in its place. You can mix and match like that. But I didn't get any further than the requirements where you needed 15 sections of river. You needed to revive Jurak. He's the tree guy, by doing, like I said, the 2 eyes and the nose.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to have people start to live there. So you can complete a quest in the city for a person, and then they'll come on the train, and then you can invite them to come into Sedaine. And these are required for you to finish that level, because and I didn't get to this part, but basically to complete Chapter 2, you have to create this rainbow butterfly, and I guess you have to defeat it. In order to get the rainbow butterfly, you have to do all this bullshit. Like, you have to have a tailor shop created in Sedain. And in order to do that, you have to meet X requirement. You have to have the French maid that lives in your house back in town. You have to have her come and always fulfill her lifelong dream of becoming a tailor in order to get a seed that goes with it. It's kind of ridiculous. They force you to do certain things with this area, and it's really not that interesting. At least to me, it wasn't that interesting to create Sedain differently.
It sounds
I almost fell asleep while you were
Sorry.
a ridiculous amount of steps just to get to one spot.
So the sewer, as boring as it was, really wasn't.
The worst part of the game.
No, it wasn't an accurate representation of a tutorial of what you need to do, because you don't have to like terraform or create anything in order to progress the story there. You basically just get through the dungeon and then you move on with the train that they open up and you go to Sedain.
Oh, but that's only tier 1. Tier 2 of the game is like SimCity from hell, where you have to grind and play that game longer to advance.
I think there's a very redundant aspect to this game, though. I picked up that pretty quickly especially those dungeon crawls. It's like, why do I have to keep doing this over and over? And it's not like there's a huge variety of enemies.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 enemies.
And then they
random
might
one till you get the key.
They might throw 1 or 2 new ones in once you start getting towards the last couple levels of that dungeon. And that's about it. Be like, oh, I haven't seen that yet. Same shit, different
Texture.
format. Yeah, texture, thank you.
The other thing I didn't like...
Is that what this is? A list of things you didn't like, or are we talking about gameplay? Oh, wait, what's the difference? Oh, wait, never mind.
I knew another big aspect of this game was the item creation.
Oh, okay, with the camera?
You have to take pictures of
Ingredients.
certain objects, and then when you put like 3 of these object pictures together, you can create a unique item. Like
Create the concept.
Yeah,
Yes.
you create the concept and then you create the...
Because then you have to get the supplies.
Yes.
And then you have to build it.
But there's no real... I feel like there was no real roadmap to that. It's just, hey, let's see if this makes an item. Nope. Because like that first initial circus town, I went around and took pictures of like a ton of shit. And I was playing around just mixing different things. Like, is this going to create something? But there was no like guide to that. And I feel like there's a whole online aspect where people have looked up and figured out certain combinations and shit.
Well, hang on. So what I found was that just walking around town and going in different shops and in different environments, you'd find suggestions for items to make. Like you'd find like a piece of paper on a desk somewhere, and it would say, oh, if you put a wood box, Durac, and a giant Yorta tree together, you get something. So the game does suggest things for you. But you're right. You'd think that it would be a little more... I want to say more intuitive to create things. Like if.
And what do you have to do to get a picture of Durac?
You have to. You have to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
not a good
Like,
example. This one is a charging.
No, that was a
ram,
great
tree,
example. Actually, that was
grass.
a great example of what this game has to offer.
Oh, I like how you make bread. You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
To make bread, like 1 loaf of bread, you need a picture of wheat flour, a bakery sign, and a fireplace.
That's what I think of.
You need the picture of the bakery sign.
To bake bread.
That's where they bake bread. Snap! I got bread. That's pretty much the way it goes.
But there's a lot of, like, when you think about it, like, there's a lot of different... So you build your weapons. You build these items. You build the town. Like, there's this huge overarching theme of building and creationism, like, just ingrained in this game.
The kind of thing I love in games, crafting. I love crafting in almost every game that I play. Didn't like it in this one.
This was Minecraft before Minecraft.
Oh,
Whoa.
Whoa.
Here's the thing.
Japanese Minecraft.
Look, I'm not a Minecraft guy. I have played it a few times. I respect what that game is, though, because there's so much shit you can do in that game.
I respect the creator.
Okay. And I...
It's like the most dismissive thing ever. Okay.
Okay. That said, though, this is like being given a bunch of tools to then, like, they're like, okay, you can buy any art supplies that you want in this Michael's or whatever. Craft store, yeah. You can buy any art supplies in this craft store, but you're only allowed to use them on this paint by numbers. Does that make sense?
The ingredients you're given are much greater than what you can actually create with it.
Yeah, you throw like all of the elements of like the crafting and stuff. You make it just a little bit snappier. You make the game worth playing, and you make an interesting storyline. That system goes to a different game and is the most successful part of the game. But the way that they have it now, it's just it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. I'm sorry.
You need to give the game another 20 hours.
I do not. And will not. It is already deleted.
No,
from mine.
I think I gave this game a fair amount to try to grasp me.
Yeah, I
you?
did too.
Grasp.
It's going to grass you.
6 to 8 hours. If you can't grab somebody in 6 to 8 hours, that's like reading the first 6 chapters of a book. If you don't get gripped in those first 6 chapters, the fuck's the point of reading the goddamn book?
But the first 6 chapters of Twilight weren't that good. It gets better in chapter 7. Just a look.
I think you could take that exact same thing that you just said and only give it 2 hours. Like, I feel like you shouldn't give any game.
He's so mad he broke the mic.
Slight technical
Fucking game! Get back! Get prepared!
The game gets good once you reach level 5. Get it? No?
No.
Okay, let's move on.
On that note, let's mosey on into some graphics.
Graphics.
Some of the design of the characters is kind of cool. Like some of the later bosses and things like that look interesting. Other than that, this is pretty much your standard cel-shaded game.
Yeah, it's generic.
It's really, really generic for a JRPG.
There's nothing that makes me look at it and go, wow.
The textures of the dungeons are terrible. It's the same, like you had said earlier. It's the same copy paste. Fucking this room here, this hallway, this hallway. It's just bad. It's just real bad. And the fact that they make you take pictures of the fucking surrounding areas with a fucking camera to craft stuff is just bad too.
You think this is bad?
I think it
look at it again.
It just pulls. Yeah, exactly.
I'll say in regards to like a PS2 generation game, I thought it looked pretty good in comparison to other PS2 games out there. Like, I thought like the art style was actually a decent direction to go. I do have a gripe with the copy paste environments of the dungeons, though. That was very
too much.
It was unappealing.
It was repetitive.
There's just too many levels, I think.
Yeah,
within a dungeon, and I know that too much of the same thing. I noticed that the clown's animations weren't really matching his mouth that well. And again, I know it's a PS2 game.
Localization too.
Sure, the actual matching the flappies with what you're saying.
Right.
It didn't really work for me. The art style is okay. I don't like the design of the characters with their hands being enormous or cartoony. I know it's a cel-shaded game and you can't really stay proportional, but it could have been more proportional. I keep thinking of Dragon Warrior 8, which I haven't played, but I've seen, and that to me seems like cel-shaded done right. Not to bring up the Wind Waker again, which is like the main one I think of, but that for an RPG of this style, that's like the go-to for me is Dragon Quest 8. Not just their hands and feet were big and it looks stupid. I don't know.
Everybody looked like a clown.
Yep. Maybe the clown's what they did first and they used it as the model and then they went on from there.
Maybe.
I feel like the clown's feet were smaller than fucking Max's.
Well, what does that say about Max?
His feet were huge.
That
You know what
reminds
they
me.
say about big shoes, though?
Big socks.
Big socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad Japanese games.
Giant penis.
You get to choose his outfit in the beginning. I was like, oh, I wonder if, later down the road you get to change your outfit or whatever. It seems like, nope. Whatever it is that you pick, that's it. You're stuck with. And some of those outfits were goofy. Like
I picked red and I fucking hated it.
Yeah, like a red
I picked
jumpsuit.
the red one and I fucking hated it.
It's just a small pet peeve of mine. It's like, I like being able to change my outfit or the changes I make to my character having an impact within the game. I like to see that. Anyway.
You should change your outfit sometimes.
Why did you have to point that over here?
I'm sorry.
Because he made the right choice.
There's a dark cloud escaping from my asshole.
Let's move on into music.
Music.
Personally, I'd like to say right away that the music was grating, and I felt that a lot of the voice work, the voice didn't match the character that I was seeing.
Hello, Mother.
There's a giant purple fish with teeth and makeup in the forest, and that voice did not match the character. Also, you meet like a gorilla-like thing, and he sounds like a hippie, and it doesn't match the character.
No.
And I don't think that the clown's voice actor was very good. I think Monica works. Monica seemed okay. Max is kind of like, I'm an older person trying to portray a young kid. You get that feel. Like, hey, I'm an older actor trying to play younger. But
I'm a real boy.
yeah, overall,
Bro, have you seen the rainbow butterfly?
You seen that? Have you seen the red-haired kid run through? He has a ticket. I need to find him.
the dwarves were funny.
Do you have any bread?
Yeah, right.
You got some grape
You
juice?
got some grape juice, man?
Is it really tasty? Is it come in a glass
Bill and
bottle?
Ted's Excellent Adventure in the Forest.
I got really bad cotton mouth, bro.
Hey, check this out. You want to train some grape juice for my fishing pole? I got some worms.
The Colonel as Cedric, not to be confused with Sid, because he's not Sid. from
Definitely
Final
not
Fantasy.
Sid.
Definitely not
Definitely,
Sid.
I don't even know why you're mentioning it.
Nope.
There's no
Nope.
comparison whatsoever
No.
that he's the vehicle driver through the entire world.
He's an old guy. It's like a mechanic, and he builds things. Cedric, nope.
Nope.
Yeah, and it's like the leading force behind your main mode of transportation. I don't get the
Who is Sid? It's like it's that even like a
Sin?
thing.
Do you mean Sin from
Sin.
Final Fantasy X?
Maybe
Sin?
Is he the giant fish thing?
Sin?
Oh my god!
Sin?
All right, somebody else take the floor. You brought up 10.
We're done.
I don't
Let's
wanna talk
go.
about it.
Where's
Is that it?
Riku when you
Game
need her?
sucks.
Damn.
Though I will say, like in the beginning, it's like there was one song where it basically
My feet are
reminded
tucked in.
me by what would you do with the drunken sailor?
Oh, yeah.
And repeat 200 times. Stop it.
Yeah, the music is grating. The voice acting is fucking atrocious.
I mean, it sounds like your typical RPG. I'm in a land, but with a little less
What?
effort.
I'm in a land.
Yeah, just
I'm in a land.
I'm in a land. Well, you know, when you're walking around in an area for the longest time, and it's just the same old thing over and over, but it just
But there's a difference between like good music and good background music
between
and good
catchy
ambiance.
and it's like I wish this would fucking stop. This was more on the line of I wish this would fucking stop, but that was just like the all-encompassing feeling of the
I
game.
turned the music off and I started to listen to the soundtrack to Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
I almost never do that.
Did it match up better?
Sure.
Cool.
It's cool. That's probably what the composer was doing too.
Yeah, right?
This is just my input on sound. I don't remember much of it really at all.
Because you had your fingers in your ears.
And in your butt.
I just remember Max doing this like narration like in between chapters.
Oh, yeah, he's telling it past tense. Yeah, he's like writing a letter to his mother. That's how the story starts.
Okay.
Yeah, because it goes,
I
Dear
had no
mother.
idea that I was ready to experience the new world. It was right at my fingertips. La, la, la.
well, let's move into some final thoughts. And get
Final
this over
thoughts.
with. Get it over with.
Let's fall into final thoughts.
Do it.
Final thoughts.
I...
Go ahead.
Sorry, Mike, can I go
No, yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Barge your way in.
first?
I really
No, go
I'd
ahead.
like to say that...
Go ahead, Ralph.
Yeah,
No, go ahead.
I think
Talk
I
to me,
missed.
Ralph.
I think I missed the boat on this game. I think if I'd played it in like 2004 or 5 or whenever,
When you were 30.
I know we're all probably on the same page here. This is going to sound
were you
redundant.
going to say same boat again?
No,
'Cause
same
you already
Same
used
boat.
it. We were all in the same boat, and I
Oi, Tugga.
oars.
There were no life rafts. The ship went down.
What?
I can understand why someone, who played this when they were younger would have nostalgia for it, but I don't. I will never beat this game. I didn't enjoy my time with it all that much. Try harder, level 5.
Wow. There is
And try harder they did. They went to make a sequel,
Cooney!
and they didn't get it.
Oh.
I think pretty much I put everything on the table when it comes to my final thoughts. Don't really have to put much thought into it because all it is a giant bucket of meh.
Giant bucket of meh.
No, not meh. Meh. It's even a lesser level than it could be meh, Meh means I had some enjoyment playing this. Meh means, oh, I just wanted it to end, which is why I'm glad we're recording tonight, because now I never have to do anything with this game ever again. Ever.
All right. My final thought is, and I'm very rarely just like really direct and to the point. This is the worst. With my final thoughts, I usually just kind of give like an overview.
You're
and
not
going to
say what I think you're going to say.
I think
this is the worst game that I have reviewed for the podcast, hands down. Hands down.
I can't fathom this.
Look, if you ask me, would you rather play 6 hours of fucking Rambo, Duck Dynasty,
No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky, or this? It's one of those three or all three. I'd rather play 18 hours of those games than another fucking 6 of this.
Wow.
This is garbage. This is fucking garbage.
I'll be honest.
Bob can't top this with a fucking donated.
No. You take that back. You do not challenge him with that. No.
You don't know what you
I do not support that comment at all. That does not reflect the views of the entire podcast. No.
We can play Man vs. Wild. What's the
I
Bear
have
Grylls
finally
show?
met the man.
Might-
He's not a myth. He's a
might
real person.
Be better than this.
You've never peed into a snake's mouth and then
I have.
drank it to
I
survive.
have done that. Oh, you're talking about a video
I'm
game.
talking about a video game.
So honestly, this has great reviews online.
It does.
It does. It's like an 87%.
So
So what happened?
We're just Neanderthals who don't get it. That's the truth.
Look, we weren't 10 when this came out,
yeah,
and we're not 10 now.
but I mean, kids weren't going to review this game for like magazines or.
You're saying
Another Dark
adults
Cloud
in
escape.
2003 liked it and played it.
Yeah, I'm
what you're
saying
saying.
like critics out there at the time of this release love this game, and it's like, what am I missing here? Like that, I'm just not getting that picture.
Roger Ebert gave it 2 thumbs up. The butthole.
I don't know. It's just like I feel like our episode is going to piss so many people off out there.
You're right.
Probably.
I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it.
We missed the boat.
Yeah, I think I missed the boat. We're all standing at the dock, just watching it drift off into the sunset.
I'm throwing rocks at the boat, hoping it sinks.
Wow.
Look at me. And the captain now.
As I drive it directly into a fucking iceberg. Fuck
Wow.
this boat. I don't want to be on it.
Captain Phillips and
That's it.
Titanic in one sentence. I think that's like the pinnacle of everything. Just shut down
Tom
the
Hanks
internet
saying,
and everything
"Iceberg
else.
right ahead."
That's right. We're done.
No,
Yeah.
I found motivation to get through every other game up to now on the podcast, but there was just something about this game. Every time I thought about it, it just like sended like literal chills down my spine.
Wow. We having nightmares about clowns.
Yeah.
Harry sent us pictures of him putting needles into his urethra rather than playing this game. Harry, that was a little twisted, but we understand what you were getting
Well, at least
at.
it wasn't an adjustable wrench.
Yeah, it was weird. He had them all like, like with the actual like meme
Yeah, please
titles.
describe it, 'cause I didn't get this picture.
Meme titles on it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was just like still a better love story than Dark Cloud 2, and it was him just sticking a
not
needle
a
right
love
into his
story.
urethra.
Yeah. You didn't get that? I mean, when he was doing like the sewing needles, that was already something, but once he got up to crochet, whoa. Crazy man.
I did go into this game with like an open mind, like expecting a grindy game, but thinking like, hey, you know what, this is like a beloved game. I think like I'll enjoy it. There'll be some aspect that I can really get into, and it just didn't happen.
It's lies.
For all of us. In unison, separately.
I don't know. I am disappointed, and again, if like I'm missing something there, try to convince me otherwise. But I can't do any more of this game.
Someone's gonna have to do some hard convincing for me.
What about soft convincing?
No.
Okay.
Pull up your pants, Ralph. Not
Yeah.
Whoa!
All right. You know what? Let's just
Put the last nail in this coffin.
let's harakiri this. It's time for some score.
The score.
So there's like 3 piles of shit that is No Man's Sky. This is like 1 pile of shit.
So you need 3 piles of
No Man's Sky
to reach up to
No Man's Sky
Marvel's
is one big turd, and then the updates are just little turds.
All right, I'm just going to be blunt. This just is a a solid F for me. I enjoyed nothing of this game. The story didn't captivate. The graphics were music was battle was just nothing. It just felt like a waste of time.
Nothing.
Yeah, I'll say it again. Nothing, because that's what it means to me. Nothing. 5 times over.
Who are you trying to convince? Us or yourself? I think I'm going to give this a 40.
Yeah?
You're looking at your old scores?
Yeah, I don't know where to put this because, I mean, one, I didn't finish it, but at the same time, I don't know if I can finish it. And number 2, like, should I give it the benefit of the doubt, or should I grade it on what I've seen and know about it? Like, it's
Graded on what you've seen and know about it. Don't
Your side, yeah. Don't
let fucking someone else's 97 fucking skew you on how you feel about the fucking game.
It's your score, boss.
I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10 then.
Is that your lowest?
Yeah,
High five, buddy.
Wow.
That's your lowest too, isn't it?
I think so.
No,
I feel...
No. Ralph
Oh, I'm
went
sorry.
lower
I gave
before.
Rambo like a 0.99 or something.
you gave something a .001.
What was it?
Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, I'd rather play this
Like, it
game
shows
than Duck
like
Dynasty.
I can't even do that on the chart. It rounds it to 0.
This game rounds to 0.
All right, well,
How many clown
did.
anuses?
I already did mine, man.
He did.
I didn't
Already-
hear it. Oh, your
yeah.
piles of shit. Oh.
yeah.
Dang.
Don't call Clark that. He's not piles of shit.
No, not
You're-
dung.
You are done.
Dong.
I'll be honest, like, I'm just so relieved this is done, under wraps, behind us. Like,
Yeah.
this was holding the podcast back, like, almost indefinitely. Like, we
It
have
constipated the podcast.
no, like,
It was stuck in our internal organs.
And this episode has been
creating
diarrhea.
a fucking jam.
Yeah.
just saying, ever since
And now that we
this-
finally just spewed it all out all over the place.
And we're out of toilet paper.
And
just,
out of Pepto.
ever since this has been on the docket, there's been, like, almost no progression of the show.
No. But
Who
here we are.
number 2 work for?
Who does number 2 work for?
Who does Dark Cloud 2 work for?
Nobody. I mean, I'm just going to throw this out there, too. I wish I could have been one of the critics that got paid to review this highlight.
Oh.
That wasn't a thing until like the last 5 years.
No, it wasn't. It was just only published in the last 5 years. Shots fired.
Next, we're going to have Power Stone. You got Mubbers next week. We'll see you later.
Mubbers.
Love you. Bye.
Why is Love You becoming our send-off?
Love you.
Didn't it used to be fuck off?
Hey, you know what?
To tell our audience,
Look, it's our season 2 thing is love you.
You can
Love
say
you.
whatever you want. I like to let them know I love them. So, hey, you listening? I love you. Kisses. Kisses. You have to press the button, Clark.
Game over. Game over. Game over.
Thanks for listening to Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Stay up to date on our Facebook at facebook.com/superfunpodcast.